everybody, Captain Dave Schneider coming to you from northern Michigan, and this time I'm in northern Michigan. Day two. Now, I know I got some doubters out there, and I deserve it. Absolutely deserve it. But I'm here to win you back, man. I'm like that old boyfriend that you fell in love with, and just, and that's maybe a bad example because most of my demographics are men. I'm like that girlfriend that just never quite treated you right. You know, but you still loved her, and you loved her, and one day you hoped that, but my God, where am I going with this thing? I don't know. But I'll tell you what, I'm here. And I'm headed up to the UP. I'm going almost to my nephew Chris's house. Shout out to Chris and Gorilla Outdoors. He's got a new soft plastics line called Chase and Tail baits, and we're actually going to be throwing some chase and tail baits in this tournament here, so it'll be kind of fun to see what he's got up his sleeve. I know he's awfully excited about it, and you know, Chris has been a bit of a fixture on my channel over the last few years. But anyway, shout out to Boo. I got to see Boo last night. Hey Boo, how you doing, buddy? Listen, I got the truck back there. I got the boat behind the truck. Had to go get some tires put in my trailer. Long story, but I want to talk to you a little bit about towing. I've learned some things in the last 5, 6, 8 years that probably worth talking to you about. A couple things. Now I've gotten several calls, and there's some people in particular that I fish with up here every year, and I'm going to tell you, get a hold of me. These dates are falling fast, which is a really good thing for me. I appreciate you guys. I've already had I've had four bookings in the last 24 hours, if you can believe it or not. So that's a good thing. That's good. I'm gonna be on fish, and it's always so much fun to come up here. It's such a beautiful place. Northern Michigan, we fish out of the Sheboygan area. Could be Sheboygan, could it be Alpena? There's so many good lakes up here in this Great Lakes region that are just so full of fish. Now I'm not, we're well north of Lake St. Clair and Saginaw Bay and those places. We're way up above all that stuff. But there be monsters in these waters, man. I'm gonna always brag about the 8.4 that I got. I got a 7.1. Those are my two best fish up here in northern Michigan. But also, you know what? I've had at least 1 year, 2 years ago, I had a 5.15, which was one out shy of 6. But every other year since I've been guiding up here, I've had at least one guest get a 6 pound plus fish, and some more than one. So anyway. Talking about all that, I do want to, those of you on Okeechobee and whatnot, I want to tell you the water's getting to be 12 feet. I do want to say something about that. 12 feet on Okeechobee is not 12 feet of 3 years ago. It's more like 13 feet of 3 years ago. And what I mean by that is there's so much dead vegetation in the areas where we want to get in and fish. And you can go in and fish them. I'm talking about like going in a Boy Scout cut, which I still don't think you can get in there right now, guys. I don't recommend it. But getting in around the islands and stuff, you work your way in, and then you fish. You run in there and sit down, and maybe you hit your boat, maybe you don't. But then when you try and get out, you're churning so much dead vegetation and silt and everything. It's just really not good for your gear. So plan on the fact that if it's 12 feet, it's going to be like trying to get up and out of the water when it used to be 11 feet. Does that make sense to you? There's just that much dead vegetation. Now, having said that, there's some nice clean water in some places. East Wall's clean, at least it was the other day here when I was out there. And there's some nice stuff too. Dynamite holes, guys. Fish dynamite holes this time of year. That deeper water, there's a lot of, I hesitate to say this too loud, but there's a whole bunch of hyacinths and stuff in some of the dynamite holes that nobody's apparently seen or cared about right now. And the vegetation comes all the way out to the breaks. And so you're pitching your bait up, and literally there's 9 feet of water underneath the vegetation up there. So pitch a shiner up there with no weight on it, let it swim around, it's gonna get eaten. Punching through, I tried punching through the hyacinths 3-4 feet into the hyacinths. Didn't have as much success as just dropping the bait. Look at that, by the way. I don't know if you can see it or not. There's Mullet Lake right there, driving through that area, coming through the Pigeon River country. But you'll had a little more success fishing near the edges. A lot of times those fish get up and suspend up underneath that floating vegetation when you can find it. All right, that's Okeechobee. Now back to northern Michigan. I'm really excited. Actually, I'm headed up to a little lake in the UP. I think it's called Little Manistee or something like that. My brother actually had property on this lake years ago. We used to have a little hunting camp up there. and whatnot. About an hour and a half across the bridge. This is not a fishery that is one of those deals where you go, oh, let's go up and fish such and such and take the hour drive out of Sheboygan to go do it. But there's a bunch of guys that like these little club tournaments, like to go up and fish places like this. So that's what we're headed up there to do, is fish a little club tournament with my nephew and some of my very good friends. So anyway, having said that, I guess I did say that. I hope I'm on the right road here. But I'm almost to Chris's house. I promise you some content every day, guys, and this is just installment number 2. I'm probably going to show you a little bit of fishing. I'm going to talk to you a little bit about how I go about finding fish on these lakes. When I don't think I've maybe been on this lake one time, but never as a fisherman, not the caliber fisherman that I am today anyway. So it'll be interesting to see. I'll kind of show you what's what and how I go about things, and show you what my rod selection is based on what based on what the cover is. Now, I do know it's a grassy lake, but I also know it's got rocky points in it, which means it's got a nice variety. It's got smallmouth bass and largemouth bass in it. And these heavily dominated smallmouth fisheries up in the North Country, a lot of times you target those smallmouth because, one, they're usually in wolf packs together, and a lot of times you get into a good fish, you might catch several. And two, they tend to be just a little more prolific. But the big old green ones, they still live in these waters, and they live in the grass lines, and they hide in the grass lines and stuff. And I'm sure this is a lake that's going to get the banks beat up pretty good. So Chris and I are going to get on the electronics. God bless Lowrance. I can see 300 feet in each direction under my boat, and we're going to drive around this lake and see if we can find some offshore stuff. I know Chris and my brother Rich actually have had some success in the past doing that, so we're going to probably try and do some of that. Captain Dave Schneider, coming back to Boo again. Hey, buddy, I'm going to see you just a day or two. I guess maybe tomorrow afternoon, tomorrow evening, I think. And whatnot. Thanks for helping me get my trailer fixed this morning. I appreciate that, little Dave. And shout out to Jack and everybody. My 2 grandsons. Good gracious. And my daughter Katie got herself a new little dog. His name is Riggs. Now, that's from Martin Riggs, aka Mel Gibson from the Lethal Weapon series. My daughter Kara, I've been told, is going to have to get Murtaugh, so I don't know if she will or not. But anyway, it was really fun to meet little Riggs. Shout out to you, Riggs. I know he doesn't speak dog, and he doesn't speak English, and I don't speak dog, so I guess not just English. Dogs probably don't speak French either, or Spanish. Well, they speak it in some ways. Underlay, hurry up, come here. It's all the same. Captain Dave, I'm waxing on to the point of stupidity now. I'll talk to you guys soon. Oh man, I just about schmucked a red fox. Captain Dave. It's a guy's life. It's a great life. And it's summertime in Michigan. I'll see you guys soon.